All right, welcome to the DFC. I'm your host, Zzz, and today we got DFC 4 on our hands. We're gonna be kicking things off inside the heavy division as Znasty takes on Sukuna, and then we got two short notice replacement medium ranked fights where Ghosty takes on Drive and Kemo is gonna be stepping up to take on Akker. All right, let's take a quick look at the heavy rankings. We got Zay at the number 6 spot, number 4 Znasty. Things are pretty much shaping up pretty good. Obviously, Skill just lost to Soy, but there'll be more on that later on in the card, so stay tuned. But with that said, man, it's time for the first fight. We're getting right into it. Znasty taking on Sukuna. We got HVY versus that Railblade. It's gonna be an interesting fight. I'm not really too sure who's gonna win, but what we do know is there is a heavy pain disadvantage for Sukuna, who is playing out of the EU, of course, obviously Europe, and yeah, he plays usually on German ping, but yeah, we'll see how things go, man. All right, the fight's about to get started with on the referee's commands, and then the fight's gonna get underway. All right, the fight's on. Let's see what happens. Both guys right to the center. Swing and a miss for Sukuna. What? I mean, that's just air swinging. Nice little iron rods there for Sukuna to start things off, though. Metal armament does not get through. Good jet kick. Counters out the punishment cleanly. Final line rolled. Let's see what happens here. Nice little exhaustion strike. So far, back and forth action to start things off in this very quick opener of the goddamn card. And the thing is, too, Sukuna is kind of like a new guy in the DFC. Obviously, he's new. I mean, he's making his debut. But he's looking pretty interesting so far. Nice little iron rise get through. Misses that. Pressure blast goes right through there. Revenge lands clean. I'm liking Znasty's work so far. Znasty obviously coming off of a loss to Akker. He said that he's trying to get that one back, man. He's trying to, you know, ooh, nice little hit, though. From Sukuna, got him with the crit. Backing up a little bit. That's the iron rods though. Let's see what happens here. Nice revenge from Znasty. Crit hits the referee. Referee a little bit too close. Obviously though, the fighters will continue fighting. You know, they only gonna stop at the referee. You know what I'm saying? Say stop or something. You're gonna hear a sound effect if that happens. All right, nice work here from Znasty though. Misses the crit. Goes for the death from above. Nice little guard break though. Good revenge. Pressure blast feint. He's gonna go for it again pretty soon. And we see that a lot though inside Deepwoken in general, right? People feint into the same thing. I mean, it makes sense sometimes, but at the same time, you could also like mix it up a little bit. But we'll see if he uses that pressure blast anytime soon. Nice little uppercut. Feints it again. And bam, goes for it. Got Sukuna to overreact. And that was a good usage of that feint. But so far, I really don't know who you can say necessarily is winning this round. Both guys had their moments, nice moments here from Sukuna. You know, let me shut up before somebody gets a knockout, you know what I'm saying? Nice little traps, good uppercut, firing line. Great combos there. Combos that out perfectly. All right. And the round's over. Oh, they're still trying to fight. Now the round's over. The round's over. Okay. All right, yeah, so far, man, 12 for 32, 20 for 37, you know, pretty interesting fight so far, right? Very closely contested, but you can argue that both guys had a lot of good stuff in that round. Obviously, Sukuna landed more impact in the sense of, like, you know, variety. But the thing is, obviously, you have to think about the damage, too. But then, obviously, Mantras, pretty close contested fight. The significant Mantras, 4 for 5, 5 for 5, 14 for 23, and 21 for 23. You know, that's actually pretty good for Sukuna. That means he landed a whole lot of goddamn Mantras in this fight. But we'll see what happens now as round 2's about to go down. Waiting on the referee's commands. Sukuna got to get him the orange. He's way too close. Our round 2 action starting up right here. Let's see what happens. Death from above does not get through. Nice little iron rods though. Those kind of partially landed, I believe. Nice exhaustion strike, lands clean. And I'm liking exhaustion strike as well. It's a really good mantra to have in your arsenal because it's just like the whole thing of giving your opponent the posture or whatever is just such a clean thing to have because obviously this is the heavy division, man. Nice firing line there from Sukuna. Nice revenge though. That revenge is money. Every single time Znasty goes for it, he's able to land it. I'm not too sure if he missed it once so far in the match. Nice line one there. Good guard break from Znasty, man. I think that was with the twin cleave, I believe. Nice work there with the death from above. Good iron lance though. Crit. So he's up against the referee though. Let's see what happens there. Firing line lands once again. And I'm liking that firing line from Sukuna. He's only missed it a couple of times, I think, in this fight. Good crit. Crit once again, back and forth crits we see. That was actually a revenge that I had missed. Crit lands clean for Sukuna. Doesn't get the second hit though. Let's see what's happening here. We got 50 seconds to go. Doesn't get off the soaring stuff. Or Celestial Star, I believe is what it's called. I forgot what it's called. Pressure blast once again. Nope. Firing line. Pretty back and forth close. Nice little uppercut though. Let me be careful, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking about some close contestant and somebody gonna get knocked out. Nice little crit though for Sukuna. Iron Lance. And Sukuna's doing really good. You gotta remember, Sukuna is playing out of that EU, you know what I'm saying? Europe. You got European ping right now. It's an NA server because it's mostly NA based. Nice little traps there. Good stuff from Sukuna there. Let's see what's happening. Pressure blast. We might go to round 2 with revenge. Hits the ref. Oh, and he's out. Okay. Great knockout from Sukuna. The referee did get in the way partially, but I don't think it was that big of a factor. Obviously, though, let's go ahead and take a look at the replay before we go ahead and interview Sukuna. All right, so right here, Sukuna lands a nice little Iron Lance. All right, gets him going backwards, follows that up with a nice little, I believe, the rise, and then after that lands a clean crit. But right here, man, we saw another crit land clean for Sukuna, but obviously lands that Iron Lance right afterwards. And then I believe he followed up here with another M1, but that got parried. And then obviously right here, Znasty did have some success in the fight. Obviously landed a nice little pressure blast, but then he did try to revenge. And to be fair, Sukuna parried the revenge, put him out of focus, right? Or not really out of focus, put him out of position. But obviously Znasty overreacted by rolling a little too early. He rolled the first hit of the crit, but then got hit by the second, I believe, or the follow-up attack, whatever it was, right? He got hit during his risky moves. You know, you got to be very careful, right? You only got invulnerability for so long, and Sukuna was able to capitalize, get the knockout inside the second round. Let's go ahead and get the interview. All right, listen, Sukuna, second round knockout to start off your goddamn career inside the DFC. You looked amazing. You got things done in the second round. Obviously, you parried his revenge, and then you were able to counter him out with that crit, catching during his risky moves. But tell me, man, listen, how do you feel getting your first win inside the DFC, and what's next in the career, man? What you got to say?
I feel very good because this is not my region, and yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you did really good for playing on German ping. But yeah, thank you very much, Sukuna. We're gonna go ahead. I almost forgot your name. Thank you very much, Sukuna. We're gonna go ahead and get right to the next fight, man. We got the goddamn medium division coming up right here. So Dylan, currently the champion, you know, Z's fighting Dylan later on in the card. But obviously, man, Kemo defending that number 7 spot against Akker. It's going to be interesting, right? This is a short nose replacement. Kemo was originally going to fight, I believe, Killua or Dom. But look, Tailed type Nocturne versus that goddamn champion sword, you know, Frostdraw, Thundercall. Akker stepping up to the medium division on short notice. We'll see if he'll be able to, you know, live up to that expectation and hype that the odds makers made around this fight. And yeah, we'll see how things go, man. All right, both fighters are ready. Let's go ahead and see. All right, the fight's on. Lightning stream straight away from Akker, pulls him right in. Emo avoids that though, goes for the prominence draw, doesn't get it. Nice combos here from Akker though. Jet kick, lands on the guard. Nice little Rising Thunder. Great combo so far from Akker, man. And Akker's coming up for a first round knockout against Znasty. Good crit, lands clean. Nice little Thunder kick, uppercut. Nice little guard break, man. He's going crazy right now. Kemo trying to get back in the fight though, doesn't get it. Uppercut misses once again. Ice Flux, nope. Goes for the lance, nope. Nice little counter out there. Good work from Akker so far. Crit, and he's out, man. First round knockout, 31 seconds, man. That was insane. Didn't even get down to a minute. Gets things done. Lives up to the expectation, the hype. Let's go ahead and take a look at the replay real quick. So right here, Kemo overcommits, right? Gets clipped with a jet kick, and then obviously uppercut lands clean. But what does Akker do? He parries and then follows that with a crit, getting a nice little knockout in the first round. 31-second KO. We have a new goddamn record set for fastest KO inside the DFC. All right, listen, Akker, man. First round knockout once again, 31 seconds. Dylan was the previous holder with 36 seconds over Og, but now you got it at 31. So tell me, man, how does that feel? And obviously, man, you know, are you surprised getting it done like that, being a minus 1,400 favorite?
Not gonna lie, I saw it coming. I have too much aura to go against medium players. It's not even my server. I just made history, and yeah, I expected it, bro.
All right, Akker, thank you very much. We're going to go ahead and take a look at DFC 5, the next scheduled card coming up in March. Make sure you stay tuned. Let's go ahead and take a look. Coming up on DFC 5 is Skill versus Og. Now, when you talk about Skill, you can't forget that he talks a big game. I mean, that's cool and all, but This time, he's coming off his first defeat. He fought the current heavy champion Soy in the main event of DFC 3. He had a solid showing, landing clean shots, mixing things up, but ultimately, it wasn't enough. Meanwhile, his opponent Og is running a 2-fight win streak, winning both fights in the first round. The heavy division is full of fun fights, and this one can be a war. Make sure you tune in for DFC 5. It will go down pretty soon. All right, we got tail to tape action. We got Ghosty versus Drive, Iron Blunderbuss versus Serpent's Edge. Obviously, man, it's gonna be a pretty interesting fight because these guys are guildmates. You know, Ghosty's kind of become a guy that is pretty common with fighting his guildmates. But with that being said, though, both guys coming in on good ping as this is gonna be taking place in a European server. So make sure you stay tuned for this fight, man. Fight's about to go down, and yeah, we're gonna see how things go, man. All right, the fight's on. Let's see what happens here, man. Aerial attack does not get through. Good counter out there from Drive. Yeah, you got to be really careful, man. Drive does take advantage of a lot of telegraph attacks, but we'll see if we'll be able to, you know what I'm saying, take out Ghosty in this fight and take the number 4 spot. But obviously, though, it's going to be interesting. Because the thing is with Drive, obviously, is that he previously fought against Lucky at DFC 3, and that was a short notice, you know, step up, right? Lucky was originally going to fight somebody else, but I forgot who it was exactly on the card. But, hey, man, Lucky wanted to fight, so we got him a fight. A nice work here from Drive, though. Both guys going back and forth a little bit. Nice little Iron Lance, though. Both guys missed their twin cleaves. Counters out that nice little uppercut, though. Good Iron Rods land clean. Firing line. Counters out the second hit. Good Iron Lance once again, bro. That mantra has a really short cooldown, bro. He used that shit like 5 seconds ago, and he got to use it again. Judgment back and forth. This is a contract versus contract. Good jail, though, from Ghosty. Goes up for the uppercut. Goes for the shot. Nope. Nice little lower slice there, pulls him right into the air. Let's see what happens here. Goes for the twin cleave. Both guys missed their twin cleaves. Yeah, this is a really good fight so far here. I'm liking the action, but what I like the most in this fight is definitely the forward pressure of Ghosty. Judgment lands clean though. Yeah, Ghosty's always kind of going forward and just moving him backwards from time to time. As you can see, lands that M1 cleanly. Nice little lower slice, puts him right into the air. Tries to counter him out, the uppercut doesn't get it. M1s. Nice M1 lands clean for Drive once again. Judgment, clean lands right here. Twin cleave, nope. Iron Lance and he's out. With just 10 seconds left, Ghosty gets it done, man. Great work from Ghosty. Let's go ahead and take a look at the replay. All right, to start things off, man, Ghosty, he does great, right? Lands a nice little M1, spits, and then obviously goes up for that lower slice, putting both guys in the air. And I kind of like that, right? It changes the dynamic of the combat in general, right? Because obviously you're worrying about positioning, but then obviously, man, we got to talk about the finish. We had a clean, nice little knockout, you know, it looked great. What I really think that Ghosty did here was kind of set up mantras into another mantra. So basically, he used that twin cleave to kind of get Drive to have his attention on. That's kind of like a feint, and then he feinted, or you could say he used that into the Iron Lance, which put him in the correct position to land it. And that was great, clean work from Ghosty getting a first round knockout once again. All right, listen, Ghosty, man, you got things done once again. But one thing I wanted to highlight, right, in your last fight against Killua, you landed 80% of the mantras you threw. However, what I will say, man, is in this one, you almost freaking like basically repeated that number once again. But what I will say though, right, is obviously we wanted to see you fight a different opponent. You were supposed to fight Dom, but I do have a pretty good name that I think you should fight, right? Lucky. Is that a fight you're looking at? Do you want to fight that fight Lucky? And is that something that you're looking at in your career moving forward?
I don't really mind. You can put me against anyone. I'll fight anyone.
Okay. He said he's game. He's ready for any type of smoke. We'll see what happens, man. Ghosty, thank you very much, man. You did very good work in this fight. Great work. Let's go ahead and take a look at the elemental rankings. All right, so right here, Curse is coming up rising, and he's going to be taking on Cap. Obviously, Cap coming off that loss to the Elemental Champion ends. And then Akker, a rising talent in this division who is now going to be ranked inside the medium division, becoming one of 4 fighters ranked in 2 divisions. My God. But with that said, let's go ahead and take a look at the main card. Make sure you like, subscribe whenever you're watching this. Let's go ahead and see. DFC 4 Malice at the Manor, Dylan versus Zzz is going down right here at Upper Aricia. We got a short main card today, but it's still action-packed. A fun 3-rounder between number 3 Cap and number 4 Curse Elemental, and then we move on to our dangerous main event between the medium champion Dylan and the interim champ Zzz. This is the main card of DFC 4, and we're about to see how it plays out. All right, so the careers of both guys fighting later tonight in the main event have been pretty solid, right? To start things off for Zzz, he got a knockout in the second round against Dom, then a submission over Killua in the first, and then obviously he's riding that nice little win where he got interim gold against Hirasuna. You know, he's pretty good. He is tied for most wins in the DFC right now with Ghosty and Ends. We'll see what happens in his career. But the biggest thing to worry about in this fight is his opponent, Dylan, who is the defending champion and the only champion on this card. So look, he's 2-0 to start his career, right? Zzz does have the experience edge by 1. But obviously, man, you know, he's coming off of that win against Lucky. And then before that, he had the first fastest KO in the DFC at 36 seconds, but now it's 31 seconds. Dylan is a pretty good fighter. We'll see what happens in the goddamn main event. But with that said, man, let's go ahead and get right into the first fight of the main card. All right, tail to tape action. We got the number 3 ranked Cap taking on number 4 inside the Elemental division. It's going to be a pretty interesting fight nonetheless, right? Zzz MED versus Hero Blade, Shadowcast versus Shadowcast. The only thing that's going to be the deciding factor is the Battle of Oaths and the Battle of Attunements. So we'll see how things go, man. All right, both guys looking ready. Let's see what happens. All right, we're watching the referee's cam, waiting for the fight to start. We'll listen to his commands. And yeah, the fight's gonna be underway. All right, the fight's on. Let's see what happens. Shadowgun does not get through for Cap. Looks for the ice daggers, doesn't get it. Nice M1s though from Curse. Clutching Shadow doesn't get through. Got it parried, impel. Nice little M1s back and forth from both guys. Let's see what happens, man. Curse was able to capitalize pretty nicely against Ren in his last fight. Both guys coming off of a win against Ren. Obviously, though, Cap is not coming off a win. He lost his last fight to Og, but their last win was against Ren. Nice little crit, though, from Cap. Gets a nice little guard break there. Auto slicer doesn't get through. Somewhat back and forth to start things off. Nice little rising shadow lands clean. Goes for the crit. Counters it out with a nice little shadow assault. Auto slicer, nope. Clutching shadow parried. Yeah, this is going to be a pretty interesting fight. I can definitely tell this is going to be a high-action fight as this thing progresses. Crit misses. Good shadow gun from Cap, man. Goes for the shade. The shade step, I believe. Impel doesn't get through. Ice daggers rolled cleanly. Nice M1. Good crit. Nice little shadow eruption as well. Good shadow gun from Curse. Nice little combos. Almost got that off. Shade step once again, nope. Good counter art from Cap. He saw that one coming. Good guard break from Cap though. Crit, nope. Nice crit from Curse though in response. And yeah, Cap has to be careful because Curse arguably has the faster crit. Nice little, I believe that was a Dark Blade that he had used. That's auto slice. A good guard break from Curse, man. Clutching shadow parried, or it was blocked actually. This is just a trade on trade fight. But what's happening is Curse is landing cleaner strikes inside this fight, though. Nice little ice daggers, to be fair, though, from Cap. Clutching shadow gets through. Nice work from Cap here towards the end of the round. We got about 7 seconds left. Shadow Assault doesn't get through. Oh, the round is over. The round is over. That is egregious. No. Okay. He just... Nah, that's actually crazy. The round was way over, and he just knocked him out. That's very unfortunate. But Cap is gonna be able to heal real quick. But with that said, the referee is probably gonna be deducting some points from Curse for that. All right, yup, deducted points for Curse. Yeah, I don't know what Curse was thinking, man. So basically, Curse will automatically lose that round if it was scored a 10-9 round. But if it was scored a 10-8, it'll be a draw round. But with that said, though, let's take a look at the replay. So right here, man, way after the bell, right, lands a shadow gun, okay, right? But if he would have disengaged right there, then it would have been fine. But no, after that, he folds it up with a nice little 3-piece combo, and then bam, folds it up with a nice little exhaustion strike, knocks out Cap way after the bell, man. The bell already rang. You guys heard it. Round 2 is on. Let's see what happens here, man. And pretty egregious foul from Curse, but Cap is still in the fight. So we'll see what happens. And I believe there was somebody in the corner saying post-match interview or whatever the hell. The fight's not done. The fight is not done. Nice work here from Cap though. Yeah, Cap has to be careful because he already was taking a lot of damage prior. Shade step lands. Nice little clutch and shadow got through there. Nice M1s. Exhaustion strike feint. Goes for the exhaustion strike, gets it. Good crit. Nice combos from Curse. And yeah, Curse is really talented, man. As you can clearly see here. Definitely showing himself as a better fighter. Nice combos, man. Cap can't really do anything about this. It's just so sad that he fouled him before because it just shows he's clearly the better fighter here. Ice Dagger does not get through, pulls him in. Goes for the restraint, doesn't get it. Nice work there from Cap. Right into the crit. Clutch and shadow, lands on a guard. Shadow gun, nope. Good goddamn guard break from Curse. Nice little clutch and shadow. Good combos here. Let's see what happens. Nice little auto slicer. Oh my God, man. How is Cap still standing? Let's see what happens, man. Shadow Eruption puts him out bad, man. My God. Great win from Curse. Gets things done with a flying Shadow Eruption. That was crazy. Yeah, obviously some controversy, but let's take a look at the replay. Curse obviously fouled Cap, but what we saw at the end of the fight, right, in the second round towards the end of the fight, we saw a nice little shade step get the guard break on Cap, and then obviously after that, he follows it up with a nice little clutch and shadow. But what does he do? He follows that up once again with an auto slicer right into a shadow gun, mixes things up perfectly. But Cap makes a big mistake by going for a telegraph shadow assault. Curse saw it coming. He was already out of the range of it, but he still tried to parry it. But obviously Curse waited. He was very patient, stalked his prey, and then obviously landed a clean flying Shadow Eruption, getting a knockout inside the second round. All right, listen, Curse, man, you got things done in the second round via knockout. You know, you looked great. Tell me how you feel, obviously, but the biggest thing is, you know, the controversy when it comes down to your foul, right? You fouled him at the end of the round, right? Hit him a little too many times, got the knockout at the end of the round, but obviously you were doing substantial damage to him already, right? You were probably going to win this fight regardless. But tell me, Curse, right? Fouls do have to be penalized, but tell me how you feel after that performance.
Feel good. I mean, it was nothing hard. Felt like I was comboing him a lot. He might have been lagging. That's really it.
All right, but now I want to ask you, man, because obviously with a win like this, you could be looking at a possible, you know, top contender fight, or obviously a title shot in general, right? Curse, or not Curse, my bad, you're Curse. But Cap was coming off of a nice little fight against Ents. He obviously got stopped in the first round. But tell me, man, right? You just beat Cap. What spot are you looking at, and who are you looking at to fight? Because obviously you could be fighting Ents. So just tell me, man, what do you think is gonna be next for you? And you could be taking that #1 spot, obviously.
I feel like it's taking the #1 spot. That's what I feel like.
You say you want to take the #1 spot, but what I do want to ask you, right, is I remember last time after the fights were already done, after the event ended, you were talking about celebrating a whole lot, right? So tell me, how are you going to celebrate after this one, right? Obviously, you were talking about, you know, you were training a whole lot, you were ready, you were in, you know, fight shape already. So just tell me, man, what's going to be the celebration afterwards?
I'm gonna celebrate by practicing and make sure I win again, because nothing better than practice.
Okay, so you're not even gonna celebrate, right? You're getting right back into camp. You ready for another fight? Okay. We'll try to get you a fight pretty soon, Curse. So be ready. But with that said, man, you did great. You look good. But it's about that time to see the pound for pound rankings. Thank you very much, Curse. Let's go ahead and take a look real quick. All right, so right here, man, we got Dylan, the pound for pound #1 in the DFC. And basically with the pound for pound rankings, you can kind of go through every single division and determine who is the best current fighter inside the DFC. And right now, man, everybody's saying it's Dylan. And look, without a shadow of a doubt, man, he has knocked out very good guys, right? Aug got him down and out. Lucky got him down and out. He's looked great in his career, but he's taken on a tough test in Zzz. We'll see if he'll be able to keep that pound for pound #1 spot. But Ends is a rising guy that could be taking that spot in the future. But with that said, man, let's take a closer look at the main event of the evening. So far, the other 2 active divisions out of 4 had at least 1 new champion. But in medium, 1 man still holds the throne. Is that because he has yet to be challenged by a worthy opponent? Or is it because the division has been so competitive that some people are avoiding fights? But right now, we got a once-in-a-lifetime title fight between the medium champ Dylan taking on his toughest test to date against Zzz. Who's gonna stay undefeated? We'll find out in the main event of DFC 4. All right, we got main event action. Unfortunately, that promo was kind of put together on short notice. You know, it's only 5 days apart from the last event. I probably should have said that beforehand, but we booked this shit like way too tightly. But look, you know, Dylan, very great fighter in general. You know what I'm saying? Versus Zzz. It's going to be pretty interesting that he's not showing up with an enchant this time around, but we'll see how things play out in this fight. Obviously, the odds makers are going back and forth the whole week about who should be the favorite in the fight, and they came to the conclusion that it should be Zzz. I don't necessarily agree with that. I feel this is a near even fight because I have no idea who's going to win. Both guys are really good, and we're going to see some high-level combat inside the DFC, so be ready. All right, the fight's about to break down. We got the main event of the evening. Dylan is on the left and Zzz is on the right, man. Be ready. All right, the fight's on. Let's see what happens here. Both guys pretty, you know what I'm saying, patient to start things off. You got to be careful. You got to remember, one goddamn combo and it could be all done, right? We saw that with the Kemo fight. Kemo was not able to recover at all and he got knocked out. But let's see what's happening here. Obviously, not to compare these guys to like the lower level fighters on the card. Obviously, no disrespect to them as well. Updraft does not get through though. Astro win, good combos here. I believe that was a Haunted Gale afterwards. That I got him. Goes for the shoulder bash, nope. Judgment rolled. Yeah, this is a pretty clean fight so far. Pretty technical from both. Crit does not get through though. And you gotta remember, man, the winner of this will unify the belts, man. You gotta remember it's interim versus that undisputed champion and Dylan. And Dylan is the only guy so far of the original champions to not lose his belt. We'll see if he can keep it here. Nice little M1 lands clean. Astro win. Updraft. Can't follow that through. Set that up into the judgment though. That was really clean from him. Nice little crit there, I believe. Good lower slice. I think that was a setup into something else. Nice little champion war throw. Nice combos here from Zzz. Good twister kicks, counters him out. Jet kick doesn't get through. Updraft feint, I believe so. That's what a crit, nope. Updraft once again. Nice combos here and he's out. Wow, man. We got a new champion on our hands, man. Zzz unifies the belts, gets things done cleanly. Great knockout, first round KO for Zzz. All right, listen right here, man. Zzz started off the fight so cleanly, right? Twister kicks, get through, and then he cleaned Dylan with a nice little Astro win right into that updraft. But that was kind of like a fake out because he was not following up with that updraft. That completely missed. Instead, what he was doing is using that to use judgment. Got him to vent right out of that. And then obviously right here, man, we saw a nice, clean, pristine finish from Zzz. Lands the goddamn Gale lunge, and then after that, what does he do? Lands a nice little M1, twister kicks, follows it up, and Dylan goes down. And he even showed him mercy, right? He feinted that judgment. He canceled it out, man. Listen, Zzz, we're talking about a dominant performance against the guy who had the belt previously, the first ever medium champion, matter of fact, which makes you the second ever medium champion in DFC history. But what I gotta ask you, bro, how do you feel after that fight, winning the championship belt, and you're now 4-0, holding the most wins in the DFC, while also being undefeated, and just having the most wins in general, man? Tell me how that feels and what you gotta say. Okay, he already said something, Sigma. Okay, bro. I don't think Zzz is gonna say anything else. This is what he said last time, and yeah, he looked amazing. Very good performance, looks sharp, clean stuff. Yeah, he said Sigma again. But yeah, with that said though, thank you very much, Zzz. You got things done. All right, Dylan, you know, not the cleanest, greatest performance, but you know, you were in the fight for as long as you could be. And he did try to bring out I shouldn't say try. He obviously brought out the best in you. It's just you weren't good enough to beat him necessarily. But obviously, you know, no disrespect to you. But what is your main takeaway from this fight? And what's gonna happen next time out? And what are you really going to work on in general? Just have to train harder and fuller understand Deepwoken. Okay, I mean, that makes a lot of sense, obviously. What else you type in? He said, but I'm still buns. I mean, I wouldn't call you buns, bro. You're really good, honestly. But, you know, it's just he was better. He was just the better fighter. I wouldn't say you're buns, you know. He's just the better fighter. He's the new champion. And yeah, you agree. Yeah, with that said, though, Dylan, obviously, though, I got to ask you, inside that fight, we did see you kind of run into trouble when it came down to M1ing him in general. So obviously he was able to zone in, pressure you backwards, forwards, every single aspect of the fight. But what I gotta ask you, man, is were the M1s playing a key factor? Because you usually land a lot of M1s in your fight. I mean, last time out against Lucky, you got things done pretty cleanly, but it is pretty unfortunate. So tell me, was that any type of factor in this fight? Just White Gale making M1 slow. I mean, that makes sense, obviously. That makes that makes a whole lot of sense. But yeah, Dylan, man, thank you very much, man. Former champion of the medium division. But we'll see what happens if you're going to be able to bounce back later on in your career. But I wish you best of luck. But yeah, with that said, man, Zzz is the new champion of the medium division. Gets things done cleanly. I know DFC 4 wasn't the longest, event of all time. But what I will say, man, it was pretty fun for the amount of time it lasted. If you enjoy this, right, whenever you're seeing this, I don't know when this is going to come out, right? It could come out. It can literally come out whenever the hell it comes out, right? Because like I said, my schedule is pretty tight. But look, with that being said, man, make sure you like, subscribe. And I'm SG, the host of the DFC, the creator, the owner. If you enjoy this, right, we had no finishes, or my fault, we had no decisions, a bunch of finishes. Make sure you like, subscribe. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.